Initialize sequence.
Welcome to The Baldcast, a production of John Canzano's Bald-Faced Truth.
Pleased to be joined today by the president of Adidas North America, John Miller, joining us from headquarters in North Portland. Set the scene. When you walk into your office every day, what's that like?
Well, thank you for having me, John. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah.
Listen, it's a dream, right? I mean, if you had told, 7-year-old John Miller growing up in Niagara Falls, New York, that one day you get the opportunity to be the president of a global sports brand, I would say sign me up.
You grow up there. You go to a public state school, Buffalo State, the Bengals of Buffalo State.
Yep.
What was what was the household? What was the Miller household like growing up?
It was the Miller household is very blue collar. My dad was a police officer for 33 years and my mom worked at a bank. So there was very blue collar, very scrappy. I was a mediocre athlete my entire career. So if I wanted to stay in sport, John, I had to go this path because I certainly wasn't going to make it as an athlete on the field for sure. My parents instilled the values of hard work and earning a living, and I'm blessed that they did that.
You're going to have this 4-hour commercial for Adidas that is the national championship game on Monday. You've got an Adidas school in Miami. You've got an Adidas school in Indiana. This is unprecedented. I mean, you've got Adidas versus Adidas. You are guaranteed a winner in this thing. You're probably just rooting for a good game like a sports writer does. But
Sure.
But what does that mean to your business in North America?
Yeah, to your point, it is a 4-hour Adidas commercial. And, the team has worked really hard. You as a elite writer that you are, John, you couldn't have scripted this any better. You got Miami playing in their home stadium. They're playing against Indiana, who their quarterback is from Miami. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better script. And I mean, from a brand perspective, we couldn't have either, right? You had Miami going into the playoff tournament ranked 10. You had Indiana number 1. We also had 2 other Adidas schools in that Texas Tech, in the playoff as well. So we were super excited about what the outcome could be for us from a brand perspective, and this is the utopia. We're excited to descend on Miami. We're going to have a huge brand moment down there. My boss, the global CEO, Bjorn Gulden, is coming in from Germany to go to the game. I'm not sure how many college football games he's been on the sidelines too, so I think it'll be a first for him too.
You go to the Fiesta Bowl, you get to see Miami play Mississippi. Then you go to the Peach Bowl, you see this Oregon-Indiana game. What was that like for you to be those 2 venues, 2 big stakes games, 2 Adidas schools involved, and certainly a lot of drama in that Fiesta Bowl? For
sure. Both schools are great partners to the brand, right? So, Rudy Fernandez and Dan Radakovich down at Miami and, Scott Dolson at Indiana. We love working with those schools. We love working with those universities. It certainly was a bit of a nail biter on Thursday in Arizona. We, had a short night's sleep, jumped on an airplane, flew to Atlanta, and, watched really a game that was, over at halftime, really. I mean, so that one wasn't the first half of the Miami game was not textbook by any stretch of the imagination. The second half was significantly better for those of us watching, and certainly those of us who are Miami fans. And then obviously the Indiana game was you could relax and enjoy your soda and your pretzel because, like I said, they were a runaway freight train on Friday night.
Give us an idea. We see a Nike school or we see an Adidas school, and we see the logo. We don't really know kind of the investment or what the objective of the company is. When you are backing Penn State, as you guys are about to, or Tennessee, a new school coming in, or Nebraska, what's the return on investment there? Or what are you looking for? What kind of support can you give?
We really look to partner with our universities, John. I think part of, the allure to Penn State and Tennessee coming to the brand was how aggressive Chris McGuire and his team have been around NIL. You look at the program, rewind all the way to, 2024 in August when we launched the Mahomes, Texas Tech, Adidas triangle of a partnership from an NIL perspective. So Chris and the team have been doing this for a couple years now, and they've really done a great job. I think universities recognize the work that he's done, and Jim Murphy and the entire team. So we feel like we're on the forefront of what we do there, but I say the net is we look to be partners with our universities, and that's, across all sports, right? You mentioned Nebraska. We had our best year with Nebraska this year in volleyball with Harper Murray, who is an Adidas NIL athlete. University of Washington men's soccer won the NCAA men's championship. Texas A&M University women's volleyball team won the national championship. So, regardless of sport, we look to work with the universities and really be a strong partner to them across both men's and women's sports.
This is your second stint with Adidas. You were back with the company years ago. You were at Nike for a spell, at Puma for a spell. What'd you learn in between the first and the second stint at Adidas?
A ton. Obviously I enjoyed the time I spent at Nike. Bjorn and I worked together at Puma. That was another great experience. It really just comes down to putting tools on the tool belt, right? And honestly, John, my management and leadership style is very much how I grew up, right? I'm here in the office at 6 every day, rolling up my sleeves and getting stuff done. We just want to compete, right? We're far away from being the biggest brand in the U.S., but that doesn't mean we can't be bold. That doesn't mean we don't have significant growth objectives over the next couple of years. And I think this opportunity on Monday night is going to be a real springboard to show America, where we are in the sport, right? You look at these two teams playing, but if you also rewind a little bit and look at the athletes that we've brought to the table. I had mentioned the work that Chris and his team have done with Patrick and Texas Tech, but last year we had the Heisman Trophy winner in Travis Hunter. This year we had the Heisman Trophy winner in Fernando Mendoza. I like our odds next year with Jeremiah Smith, part of the brand. So the team has worked really hard, with Elijah Surratt playing in that New Horizon cleat, shows our commitment to innovation to the sport. We have 100+ athletes in the NFL playing in our gear. So we're really investing in the sport. We know in order to win in North America, you have to win in running, basketball, and field sports, right? So whether I say field sports, I lump soccer into that. Yeah. Obviously, World Cup 26 is right around the corner. We're an industry leader in soccer. There's a lot of great things to be proud of, and a great time to be a part of the Adidas brand.
All right, give me an idea, because we see football, we see men's basketball. Women's basketball is having some an uptick in viewership and enthusiasm. But is the bread and butter of Adidas North America, is it really in just Joe McGee living down the street who's buying running shoes or going on a trail run, or where is the business of football and basketball as it pertains to running and other departments?
Yeah, obviously football's never going to be as big as basketball or running, John, for the reasons you alluded to, right? You can't wear football cleats around to go to the grocery store. But what it does is, you see the viewership, right? I'm sure you saw the numbers from the NFL games this weekend. Every one of those games was bumping 30 million in viewership. So it's a moment for us to use it as a springboard for other areas of the business to connect our brand with consumers.
You're going to get this football game with Miami and Indiana. You've got a lot built around the game. And I know that your team was already working on that, even as, Oregon is playing Indiana. I'm told it'll involve an Adidas party. There'll be something with Fernando Mendoza. There will be, some merchandise and some opportunities for fans there to buy Adidas gear. The website looked like it launched overnight after the Indiana win.
Yep.
with new apparel. Anything in TV? Or do you have a commercial coming down the pipeline? Will you surprise people during the broadcast, or will the game be the commercial?
Well, stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Okay.
We'll see. We have a lot of fun, exciting elements to bring to the Miami market over the weekend. So I know you'll be down there, so you'll get to check it out.
I'll check that out. Look, people are going to watch this. They're going to go, okay, look, here's John Miller. He has, come up from a blue collar family, a state school in Buffalo, and look at the position he's in. What advice do you give to people who are watching this that say, hey, look, I want to work in that industry, or I want to do well in that industry? What do you say to people?
You got to seize the opportunity, John. I moved my family 9 times over my career, right? But people who thought I was in the witness protection program. So, the joke was, hey, I always put, the Miller address in pencil.
Right.
So, no, I mean, listen, I don't take for granted where I'm at, but at the same time, I've plowed the field to get here.
Yeah.
So but I would say to anybody out there, the thing of it is, the thing that I'm so lucky is people always ask, oh, you have the best job. I'm like, this isn't my job. This is my life. This is my life. This is what I do. I love sport. I love the business of sport. I think we're really building something special here at Adidas. Since I've been back, I'm really proud of the team and the work that we're doing across the entire scope of what we do. We have some great wholesale partners. Dick's Sporting Goods is going to have a huge build out in Miami for both, around the game with both teams. So, it's a dream come true, to have this job, but I think even more importantly for our brand and how we'll show up Monday night in Miami and quite honestly over the whole weekend in Miami.
You've got good people working around you. Is there an interview question that you like to ask that helps you figure out what someone's about?
I think the thing I always like to ask is, tell me what you're most proud of accomplishing as a member of a team. Because, in order to be successful, you have to be a multiplier. And the ability to show me that you can multiply is really critical, is a make or breaker for me, John.
It's not unlike coaches. I hear coaches talk about that. You're either a unifier or you're a divider. Like there's no in between. Are you pulling people together, or are you fracturing the unit? And do you relate a little bit to the coaches like Curt Cignetti and Mario Cristobal?
I mean, it's an honor for you to mention my name in there in the same sentence as their name. I do find myself, that coaching kind of mindset. We've been on a good run here. I'm excited about where we're going. And I do think that a lot of it is because of the people who work for this brand. They care. They really do, and my job is just to kind of make sure we stay between the guardrails. But there's some really talented folks here. There really is.
And look, you've been there 2 years and sales are up in that time. And, people are looking at you and saying, hey, Adidas is moving in the right direction. And for people who've spent time, I've spent a little time on that campus, it's compact. Like you don't have a bazillion people working there. It's not, you've got a nice footprint. You've got, a campus there that is cutting edge. But for people who visit, what do you expect to see if I walk on the campus at Adidas?
I think you'll see and feel the buzz of a brand that is on the upside. And the momentum, the enthusiasm, the passion, and the hard work that's being done here to continue that momentum that we've been building and continuing to build the business. And again, this is a really important moment for us. But we'll have another one of those important moments in a few weeks with the launch of the away kits, and then we'll have the Bob Marley Jamaica collection coming. Then we'll have the retro US jersey launching. So this is going to be a busy year. There's going to be a lot of frequent flyer miles on the John Miller American count.
Yeah. And with a company that's got its world headquarters in Europe,
Yep.
are you flying back and forth a lot, or are you doing a lot of Zooming? How do you connect with the mothership?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm there 4 to 6 times a year. So at minimum once a quarter, but sometimes more than that. And, my boss likes to get over here as well. So, I mean, we have a good working relationship with WHQ in Germany. We have a lot of support. Bjorn has been super supportive. Obviously, they've given us the financial ability to go out and get a Tennessee or a Penn State or a Jeremiah Smith. So, we continue to invest in the sports and the spaces that matter, and continue to innovate from a product creation perspective. Yeah. And I think that's really important as well.
Yeah. Strategy wise, maybe help us there. Like Penn State, that's a big get for Adidas. And there's a lot of buzz around that. Tennessee, there's buzz around that. Has there been a shift in the industry to go more towards the teams versus the individual athletes in professional sports? Or am I just,
I think it's a little bit of both, John. I think it's a little bit of both, right? We're obviously we don't have the NFL, right? So we have to pivot and find other spaces. And we've done that. We're going to continue to lean heavily into NCAA. We're excited to have both of those two joining our roster. But, signing a Jeremiah Smith or a Travis Hunter or having a Patrick Mahomes on the roster, again, Fernando Mendoza, right? Elijah Surratt. I mean, we feel like, going into this coming draft, we could have anywhere from, 10 to 15 picks in the first, 35 or 38 picks in the draft this year.
Before I cut you loose, I got to ask how you're going to root in this game. What will you wear? How do you play this one? You're like the parents of players on opposite sides of the teams. The one wears one jersey. What's John Miller going to wear to the game? Have you decided yet? Do you go all black Adidas? What do you do?
Yeah, well, we're going to do a double hit. We're going to do a double hit. We got a little SMU action working here, John, with a Miami logo and a IU logo, because, to your point, it's like saying, which one of your kids do you love more?
Right. Yeah. And you've got to see, for me, people always ask me, what am I rooting for? And I'm like, I want a good game. I want compelling storylines. I think you and I have the same rooting interest in this one.
We do. The beautiful thing, and you said this at the opening, the beautiful thing is an Adidas team will be a national championship on Monday night.
You're going to have some fun while you're there, or will it be all business?
No, I mean, of course we'll have some fun. What we do, we work in the business of sport, right?
Yeah.
Same as you.
Yeah.
Sport's fun. I mean, we're not digging ditches for a living. So,
right.
You know what? Shame on me, shame on you if we don't find a way to have a little bit of fun with this.
I always say that, I'm not holding a jackhammer, I'm in a stadium. It's not a bad gig to have. Nope. Hey, I appreciate you giving us some of your time and letting us get to know you a little bit. Your social media teams had some fun with this matchup, and I'm eager to see whether there's a commercial or a little surprise locked in the game.
Yeah, we'll see. It'll be fun. Keep your eyes open, and thank you for taking the time and allowing me to join you today. I appreciate it.